So if you've ever been to Costco, they actually used to sell these flashlights here, and I'm just going to focus in on them here. And the first one that they started out with was this flashlight, um, and it had a bezel in the back with a clear button, and it also turns red just to let you know if you had low battery. And this edge was very sharp. Um, this was, I think, 100 lumens, and also on the bezel, it was probably one of the sharpest bezels um, I've ever seen. This thing really cuts, and I was doing some testing here. That's why you could see that it's a little roughed up. But these were really great. Um, at 100 lumens, I thought, I was like, wow, I scored really big because you get 3 of these, and it was on sale for $15. The second one was 150 lumens, and then they changed the design a little bit. The bezel here was not so sharp. It was very rounded. Don't feel any type of sharpness here. Still made by Techlight. And then they changed the back. Also, this is actually the first one. Was actually a little bit longer than the second version, and I didn't quite like it because it was a little bit smaller. So in my hand, it didn't really stick out as much. Still okay though. It was a great light. I was like, wow, 200. I'm sorry, 150 lumens. I think they could probably push a little bit more. So I waited and waited, and then they came out finally with a 200 lumen version. But for the bezel, they went back to the sharpness, which is really good. So it's just like the first one. The bezel was even sharper. Same size as the second version, the 150 lumen version. But in the back, they decided to make the tail cap black. I guess for a more tactical kind of sales pitch here. So I got this, and of course they were always on sale. 3 for $15. Normally 20, but sometimes they'll throw in a sale. It's still the same size, so still small. And I thought that was it. I was like, wow, I think they found a really good ultra budget flashlight on this. And sorry, there's some kind of like dust and hairs on this because these are just sitting out. I didn't really take care of them, but I use them around the house. Finally, well, they actually came out with this version, same size as the 150 and the 200. This is now 250 lumens. They took the bezel off. So for me, I was like, why'd you do that for? But they changed the tail cap a little bit. You can see on the other tail caps, they have you can tail stand them. So because the buttons are recessed, but on this one, I guess they made it. I guess they don't want it. They didn't want to like do the whole tail cap thing. But the buttons are really cool. So in a little bit here, I'm just going to go into the functionality. These all take 3 AAA batteries, and let's take a look at the beams. Alright, so we're just going to go over the beams here. So here's the 100 lumen Techlight Lumen Master, and that's supposed to be, I think, a low setting. But if you have one more click here, that is the 100 lumens right there. I was very impressed with this beam. 100 lumens, it was perfect for everything, even the low setting. And I'll turn it off here. The low setting was also good too. The throw was it was on par, but with this beam, it was enough. So let's look at the 150 lumen. And of course this is the low setting and the high setting. So in comparison, this is the 100 lumen. Oh. And this is the 150 lumen. So looks like the hotspot got a little bigger, but still great flashlight. All right, let's go to the third one, which is the 200 lumen, and this is the low beam. And I noticed that there was a tint, but it's a little bit smoother. And there goes your hotspot. So here's the 200 lumen, and there's your 150. Almost the same. You know, the difference in lumens can't really tell unless it's like 100. So if you're going from, and this is 200 and this is 100. So definitely a difference when you go in increments of 50. You could like barely tell. So this is the 200, and let's go to the 250. Low, and this is the high. So you have the high, you have the 250 and 200. Definite. There's a tint on the third version on the 200 lumen versus the 250. Now what I like about the later version, which is the 250, is I don't like the tint, and they kept the tint consistent with the second version and somewhat of the first version. So 100 lumen, 150 lumen, 200 lumen, and then this is the 250 lumen. So the user interface. So usually, and this is the 100 lumen version. You have a low, you have a high, and then you have a strobe. So, and the way to turn off without going to strobe or going to another step up is if you go low and you hold the button down, it goes to the high setting and then it turns off. You have to hold it. So let's do that again. And I want to show a point here. There's the low, hold it down, turns off. Okay, for the 150 lumen, it's a little different. If you click on low, you click on high, and then you click again, of course it goes to strobe. Now if you want to turn it off, you can go low, high, you can go low, high, and if you want to turn it off, you can hold it in, but it still goes to strobe. On the first version, you can go to low, high, and then if you hold the button down in and the release, it turns off. So they did a little difference there. And then they stayed away from this, where you go low, high, you hold it in, it turns off, but it goes immediately to strobe. Okay, so the 200 lumen version, which is the third version, and this is the one with the tint. So it goes low, high, and if you want to turn it off, you just hold it in and it turns off. And it has the same UI where you just click, but you can go low, and if you want to turn it off, you just hold it in for about a second or so, goes high, and then it turns off. And it's going to be the same with the 250 lumen version. You have low, you have high, and it goes into strobe on the third click. You go low again, and you hold it in for 2 seconds, it goes high, and you can turn it off. So, with these 4 flashlights that came out, I wish they actually kept the size. Let me just refocus here. I wish that they actually kept the original size, because it's a little bit longer when you hold it in your hand. the bezel actually sticks out. And to me that's important, opposed to the later models. It does stick out, but I only have that much sticking out versus the first version. At least it sticks out a little bit more, and to me that's really important. The back, don't really care for it much. This is a little rough, so I'm okay with the smoothness of the later versions, the 2 and the 3 versions, the 150 and the 200 versions. I really like this, but I'm going to go with the soft touch because I could barely hear it, opposed to going with their later version. You can actually hear that, and don't really like it. So I wish that they kind of married the size with this tail cap. So the length and the bezel, the sharpness of the bezel, I'll keep that. I'll keep the tail cap, but I'll have it in 250 lumens. The second version, garbage. I think they tried too hard to improve on it. Didn't like it too much. So I would take that one out, marry these three together for size, tail cap, and then lumens. And that's my review for the Costco flashlights. You can't really find these anymore. So what they did was lately, and I saw this at my Costco, is that they took this version, the 250 version, they kept the same design, no bezel. I believe they have the same tail cap, but they made it orange, and they just put Duracell right on it. I still have yet to get it. I don't really see a need to get it, but I'll probably do it just so that I can have like the complete collection. And since they come in 3 packs, and I have the other 2, so you can see that I have a lot of flashlights already. I just keep them around the house. But for this specific set of versions, I don't use these. I just keep these just so I can have the collection. So all in all, I spent about $60 on these flashlights times 2, because they came in 3 packs. And that's my review for the Lumen Master flashlight.